Today I'm going to have to talk about John Bercow. I've been a fan of his for a long time, ever since he was just Speaker in the House, and I was very privileged to won a competition with Mumsnet, and I went to the House of Commons, and I was in a room and met John Bercow, who was an affable, very funny, and I was in a room and met John Bercow, who was an affable, very funny, witty, charismatic man, a real magnetic personality. The times that he's sort of popped up in my consciousness, I've always been impressed. He's a brilliant Speaker of the House. He sticks really rigidly to parliamentary procedure. He berates everybody. He seems really fair and just. The Tories' attempt to oust John Bercow are transparent and devious at best, and I think they show yet another place in which the Conservatives would try and affect the outcome of stuff with devious and manipulative and conniving ways of changing the law. So they were going to make a secret ballot which they felt would then get rid of John Bercow, and it didn't work. But I think it's very telling when a Tory Speaker of the House has more support on the opposition side of the chamber than he does his own party. And I simply think that if Bercow didn't correct Cameron, and he wasn't a fair and just man, and he was a little more right, eyes to the right, if you like, he was a little more on the Tory side and allowed them to get away with stuff, which would be deeply unparliamentary, so I can't imagine it's something that he'd ever do. But if that was the case, I don't think the Tories would get rid of him. I think they want to get rid of him because he's a decent and upstanding human being who puts Parliament before his own party. So I think that's the sort of person we need. I'd like to see more cross-parliamentary membership groups, say looking at education and looking at the health service. I think it's wrong that fundamental structures like Parliament, like the education service, like the health service, like transport or whatever, the fundamental things that affect all of us, I think it's wrong that they're in the hands of people that can kick them around like a political football. And I think if we had more members of Parliament that were more like John Bercow and more parliamentary groups that were more like John Bercow, I genuinely think we'd have a much more trustworthy political arena. And the fact that the Tories tried to oust him is absolutely shocking.